Scotts Valley Community Advisory Committee to order at 5:15. Well, welcome everybody on a nice spring, almost summer day. I don't know which way we're going here.
You gotta get that back a little closer.
Okay, we call this meeting to order at 5:15. Welcome everybody. Glad to have everybody here today. And I will start.
We're here. You're here.
I won't get them if you do that.
You're here. Jody, are you
Oh,
here?
yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll start with the roll call. Jody is here.
Jody's here.
I'm here.
Cornelia's here. Joel.
I'm here.
Joel's here. Jarrett's here. Greg's here. We have everybody's here. That means we have a quorum present. We can conduct business. At this time, I'll call for a motion to accept the agenda before us as produced. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll motion.
Oh,
What?
there's a pause.
Oh,
May I make a comment on your agenda?
oh, okay. There you go.
Mr. Chair, Margot Kambara, before you accept the agenda, may I make a request for an addition to the agenda? And that is for a general plan update.
We'll cover that under,
Isn't that already there?
we'll cover that under item C under updates.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
So be ready for that, okay, Margot?
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'll call again for a motion to accept the May 18th agenda as printed. Do I have a motion? Jody's a motion. Do I have a second? Jarrett? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Option.
Nays? Abstention? Motion carries. Meeting agenda is accepted. Ask for a second motion for accept the April 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Cornelia. Do I have a second?
Jody.
Jody is seconded. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. Nays, abstentions. The April 20th, 26 minutes have been accepted into record. Thank you. At this time, we'll have public comment from anybody from the public for not more than 3 minutes who wishes to address an item that is not on the agenda. Please state your name and the location you represent. Sky.
Do I need to move the microphone?
Yeah, just move towards the other bit.
Okay. So Sky Hoyt, I live in Scotts Valley. I have 3 items to bring to your attention. One is that last time I was here, I mentioned that there was discussion happening around the 0 to 5 foot zone and fire risk and all that. And I just want to remind you that I noticed, and I've come up here a few times with issues, and I noticed that the council doesn't seem to choose to agendize those topics. And I'm getting, a little bit of a complex about that. So when I bring up an issue that I think is valid and you don't want to agendize it to continue talking about it, especially something like this is long-lasting and very important to the entire neighborhood, it makes me wonder, well, why do I come here? Why do I make these comments? So anyway, that's the first point. The next thing is, I don't know how much people read the news, but there's tremendous publicity right now about a super El Nino that is predicted to come, and there's various news articles about the percentage of possibility and what does that mean and all that. Well, those of us who live where Scotts Creek has a flooding issue take that as super alarming. So I think we need to look at that. I know maybe it's too early to worry about that, but not really, because we're not very well prepared for flooding now. So anyway, I think that needs to be, again, I would make that, preparing for flood, or however you want to phrase it, I would make that a recurring item on the agenda. The other thing, and I really don't know how many people in the Scotts Valley, Lakeport, West County area even know about the Clear Lake sewage spill. Okay, so I also, I kind of feel like, well, this is peculiar. And I talked about it a couple meetings ago, and supervisor said, well, don't worry, we got plenty of insurance now. Well, the upcoming news is, I think it's now, there's 160 separate cases of litigation with 2 different law firms. Who knows what kind of money's involved in that? And I understand that's in Clear Lake, not in Scotts Valley. My concern is that there's gonna be a fiscal effect in the county to where, like, when we have issues like we need to fix the valve culvert, or we need maintenance on the ditches, or we need, that somehow that fiscal wave is gonna affect us. And again, combined with the flooding issues, could be really a bad, bad deal. So,
Thank you, Sky. Anybody else? I've reached out a number of times to CAL FIRE regards to the 5-foot space that they're trying to enforce and get into law. I've asked for speakers to come here to talk about that, as well as the 30-foot clearance and the 100-foot clearance. And they haven't had the staffing to do it yet, but we have not been ignoring our citizens' request out here, and I feel a little hurt that you'd say that, when I work hard to try to make that happen.
Well, he didn't know that.
see it on the agenda.
I know that, and so we have at the end of the meeting on our agenda, and if you look at the bottom there, it says item E. What's that say?
Future meetings agenda item.
Right, and so this is a chance, not just from our members here, but for all of us to put in items that we'd like to look at, that we get from the public to say, what is it is out there that's a hot topic or something that needs to be reinforced or reminded to put on that agenda. That's why we put that there, is to try to invite that input in there. So yes, we'll look at that, at those things as future items on the future there, but that's why we asked that.
I think that I should have written that down there as a potential future item, but I didn't have a date for someone to address it, so I didn't put it there, because we don't know how far in the future. But I went to the Fire Safe Summit, whenever that was.
Council,
Fire,
Safe Council.
it was a summit for all of the councils.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they discussed that and brought up the potential of it being an issue for everyone, but as far as I could understand from what they said, new construction at this point is the only thing that's affected for Lake County. But it was, I expressed our desire to have that presented to us, but now is a really bad time for any staffing requests. But it's not forgotten, it was just not on here. So maybe I could just add under F, like, things that we wish for and not things that are actually desired. I mean, that are not actually planned for.
Well, I think that item we want to call, it's not just meant for the members of this council, it's for everybody to give input into what they'd like to see. What is the hot topic? What are the things?
I know, but
Sure.
Sky did present it, but I didn't list
Yeah.
it.
All right,
So,
very good.
I just wanted to make sure, it wasn't a concrete thing that we had planned for a future one. It's the wish items, so I'll just try to redo the agenda to make that it's not forgotten.
And I have been contacting CAL FIRE and the local fire department about coming out here to present about fire safety, evacuation areas, what their plans are to, in here so we can know better what to prepare for. So it's ongoing. Okay, anybody else from public comment? Well, yes.
Good evening, Tom Lasik.
1 second. Jared, could you put in the notes desired future agenda items? Because it's not an agenda, because on here I can't really list them. It will be in the minutes. Okay. Sorry.
This is just a friendly suggestion, having gone through 7 different advisory councils. I think some of the things that are,
We're not getting any something like that.
oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Tom Lasik. As a friendly suggestion, maybe have certain things as standing agenda items, like the general plan, like fire safety, like the levy, things like that. That way it's always there, people can report on it, and if there's something to talk about, you just go right by it. And that way it's not forgotten.
Yeah, we do have those under, you know, A
Item,
through.
item B,
Right.
observation, groundwater,
Yeah.
fire mitigation.
It
Scott
sort
Valley
of covers
infrastructure.
all of those things, but it's not enough for a discussion, you know, so standing items would not necessarily allow us to make discussions.
Right, I'm just pointing out what some of the other advisory councils do. I'm sorry, they do have,
So my ask is, the other advisory councils, do they respond to each one of those things every time with something?
With a discussion?
I would say, if I was to just say, look at the Eastern Region Town Hall, the Western Region Town Hall, especially the Eastern Region Town Hall, they might have 5 or 6 different things, like things on, things that are coming from the planning department into their area as a standing agenda item, road safety is a standing agenda item.
We have that.
They have about 5 or 6 or 7 different things. If someone like Sky here was suggesting to have it on the agenda, or the general plan, just, that's another thing, that like the local area plan or the general plan. You'll see on some of them, they have them as standing agenda items, and then they just go right through it. Anyways, I'm not saying you have it or don't have it, I'm just saying that if someone requests it and you think it's worth putting as a standing agenda item, rather than say a next month agenda item, maybe something to
Just
consider.
a quick question about that. So general plan updates and all that stuff, wouldn't that be covered under C?
It can be, I wasn't.
Because you're just presenting, you're not asking for discussion on it. Right, so that's what those things are for. And so, under an agenda, we have to list if we're having a discussion, because that involves people to be prepared, right? Otherwise, the meetings could go on till like 10.
Well, I'm just saying what the other ones have,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
anyways.
I'm willing to do whatever is wanted. I just want to make it, I just wanted to have clarification on what's allowed under certain things. And so under updates, calendar items, and miscellaneous reports, we're not supposed to have a discussion unless, because of the Brown Act, we have to mention what things are going to be discussed.
I
Right.
think, you can have a limited discussion on these updates and miscellaneous items if it's going to be an in-depth type of a review or conversation, then it's probably better to have it
I
as
see.
a separate item. But
Okay,
I think you can have some limited discussion on these items here.
okay, so we could discuss the flooding and 5-foot setback, even though we don't have any information on it.
I think groundwater, fire mitigation, infrastructure, I think you could have
That
limited
kind of
discussions
covers
on
it.
So, yeah, so
Anyways,
we
I'm
could
gonna
talk about the
leave it to you guys.
5-foot thing on item B?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this formatting has been a little clumsy and could use some fine tuning for
Speak
sure.
up.
I think this formatting on the standing items is clumsy and could be tuned up quite a bit and add a few things to it.
And for example, I do have from the emails I look at, Margot and yours about the view of the plan that all that's closed now, but we're moving forward. And on that, I have from Sky about the report from the newspaper, read through that. And, you know, your emails don't go unnoticed. I also have from John Vandevort, who's the,
So why don't you do that, this under item B, respond to that?
he talked about the support letter for the Scotts Valley Band Pomo Indians, the application through the CAL FIRE Wood Product Energy. So there's lots of things that are coming in that I've tried to look at to see what possible speakers are available, what can they offer us? Is it something that will help us or be beneficial to us? And about,
Can you bring all that up in item B? 'Cause
yeah, I will, I'm just
yeah.
trying to say that we do listen and watch, though.
So, if it may, just again, a friendly suggestion, I can send you a copy of the Earth agenda so you can see how they have it laid
Sure.
out, if that might help, because they do have what they call Earth Business, and they talk about an update to Earth projects, and they have a Land Use Committee, a Road Safety Committee, District 3 Committee. They have a Commercial Cannabis Report as a standing agenda item, and they have court and agency project updates, and they have 4 of those listed. They have a Spring Valley update, North Shore Fire Protection District update, the supervisor update, obviously, but it's a standing pattern. But I
Sure.
can send that to you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sounds like we need to enlarge the board to cover all those things.
Say what?
Sounds like we get to get more members on the council to cover all that. Anyway, thank you, Tom.
Do we want to
Appreciate
do
your
a,
suggestions.
do we want to consider?
This guy.
Item B, I think if you would add flooding to that list.
Okay,
I don't think flooding is directly related to groundwater.
you're right.
It's connected, but not directly related.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? We'll move on with that. Now that's been taken care of. We're going to have a guest speaker, but we do not have a guest speaker, so we will move on to council business. And we'll be opening up the discussion of the bylaws and possibly vote to change and reflect approval of the boundary changes. Cornelia, would you like to bring that forth?
I just noticed a mistake. Our next meeting is on June 15th. I did not update that on the agenda. Huh?
June 15th, yes.
Yes, it says May 18th on the
That's
bottom.
today.
That was last, on the bottom, F, it says May 18, it should say June 15.
That's a day. That's a day. May 18th is today.
Right.
Go ahead. Did you want to talk about the bylaws and possible,
Go right here.
yeah,
Are
and
we
changes?
there?
Yep, we're there.
We accepted the minutes.
Yep.
Did I forget that too?
No. Oh, you just did it. But yes, you did forget
I
it.
did forget that. Accept the previous minutes. That has to come first.
Okay, on the bylaws,
Did we accept the minutes?
yeah, we accepted the minutes, well, we can make an amendment to that date, change to June 15th.
No, last month's minutes. Did we ever?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay. It wasn't on here, so I don't know if we did.
Yeah, we
We did the agenda.
we did have it right here. We did
Okay.
call for the, see right here, motion to accept the April 20th,
I
2026
believe
meeting
you.
minutes.
It was just on my agenda.
Okay. Okay, bylaws.
Yes.
Let's get focused here.
All right.
Okay, get focused.
A couple of agendas ago, I sent out the bylaws minutes and boundary map to everyone, but we tabled it at the last meeting, and so we're going to do it today.
Yep.
So the boundary that we used to have, if you remember, way back when, 2 years ago, I proposed that it should reflect Scotts Valley properties and not just a blob on a map, which is what it was. It was just sort of a circle around the creek. If you look at it, well, I don't have it, but it was in a previous version. And so when Supervisor Green and I worked on extending the boundaries to reflect what the actual boundaries should be per our discussion 2 years ago, right? He said that the reason, that the most important reason was because only people within this boundary could be on the council. Now, it's hard enough to get anyone on the council. I don't think we should refuse access to anyone, but that's the reason why we redrew this map. And so every parcel in pink is now considered the Scotts Valley Advisory Council perimeter for selecting council members, basically. That's it.
Why is this left out? What is that little,
I
I think that's Beal Inland, isn't it?
No, it's the owner of the parcel, access to that property is not from Scotts Valley.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Mm.
basically, every pink parcel here is accessed from Scotts Valley.
Can you show me on the map where Jody was pointing?
I'm
to?
sorry, the
That
little,
little heart, the yellow spot on the left,
Right here that's
Yeah.
surrounded by,
yes,
okay.
there's no way to get to that from,
from
nobody
Scotts
lives
Valley.
there and there's no house there. I was just following my parameters that I was given. It has to have accessible from Scotts Valley or one of the roads that are linked to Scotts Valley and have a property owner on it. So
Where do they have their access then?
there's nothing there.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right.
so that explains the map and the bylaws that are printed here, the ones that say draft, not the ones that were listed on the county website, are exactly the same as the ones on the county website, except for everything that's either crossed out or highlighted with yellow. And most of it is just errors, updates to reflect reality and grammar, mostly. So the first one, of course, is a change because our bylaws were amended to reflect the new boundary map. That's the first highlighted in yellow, as amended with resolution, blah, 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 April 2024. And so if we accept that change, which of course we have to, because the Board of Supervisors already accepted it, we should
Right
just,
here.
any objections to changing that?
No,
Just so everyone knows, what will have to happen is, once you go through this tonight, any changes that your body votes on, then I've got to take that back and
Right.
get it in front of the Board of Supervisors.
Yes,
Well, first I have to run it through legal, do a staff report, run it through legal counsel, get it in front of the board for the resolution.
yeah. And what I was told to do was put it out there a month ahead,
Yeah.
and so that was 2 months or 3 months now, so people have had a chance to look at it if they were interested.
Yeah.
And now, if the council agrees to the changes, then it's up to you to have the board accept them or whatever you need to do. Article 3, membership. I think the word "the" was not there, so it was I just added the word "the" by the Scotts Valley Advisory Council.
okay.
The next page, I got rid of the 2 hyphens, but you can leave them there, but I don't like them. But if you want them there, I'll scratch it. And then, the biggest change of this the proposal is to add, with the addition of 2 alternates, as recommended, and all that stays the same. The 2 alternates are in case somebody cannot make it, so we can have a quorum, or hopefully we will have more people attending that might be interested in joining the council when one of us can't or won't or will retire, and they will be up to speed with what's going on instead of starting fresh. That was the reasoning behind it. And then the next thing I'd like to change is each applicant shall be, cross out qualified as a registered voter, because I think that's not what we care about. Applicant shall be a resident of Lake County. So a registered voter is is a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say anything. Anyway, I think we should remove that. And then remove has attended 2 meetings in the prior year.
I don't think that's necessary at all.
I don't think, because if somebody moves here new, they shouldn't be not potentially considered to be on the council. And then it continues with and reside within the boundaries as defined. And I put by instead of in the Scotts Valley Advisory Council boundary map. And crossed out forming resolution because we're changing this document replaces the forming resolution. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next one, I just got rid of the hyphen, but we can keep it. And then section 3, just grammar, at which time a majority instead of by a majority. And then decide who instead of decides. And then the next, page 3, it's just another grammar. Page 4, quorum, voting meeting.
And there's, on page 3,
There's a cross out
Vice Chairman.
Where? Oh, sorry.
under vice
Yes,
chairperson.
Vice chairman, cross out, the vice chairperson shall perform all the duties and assume all the responsibilities of the chairperson when he or she is absent, and then cross out, the vice chairperson shall be the person selected by rotation to determine the place of a meeting, advertise the agenda, and develop initial draft agenda. We have never done that, and I think it's a stipulation that could become an issue, because that would mean, who's the vice chairperson?
Jody.
Jody.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I think, if somebody should be able to delegate that task to any member of the council like they're doing now.
And it already says the chair sets the meeting, so they can delegate anything if needed.
Right,
Yeah, I
so
don't think-
if
You
the,
don't need that if you don't want it.
yeah, I don't
Right.
need that, because if the chair sets the meeting, then why should the vice chair determine the place, right? It's just outdated, I think. I think it was meant to spread responsibilities, but in this age of email, I don't think it's no longer important. And it could be confusing to someone new. Okay. Did I miss anything else?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, page,
So, yeah, the council have any comments on this?
No, it looks good. Thank you for making the correction.
sure. It's just, nothing radical. So quorum, at least 3 voting members of the council shall constitute a quorum. So in case we change the number of members in the council, we should state, so we don't always have to change it, what it should be per the way these meetings are conducted. It's a majority of 50% plus 1.
You have, where was it? Oh, just a change in the grammar. God, I can't see. Now we lost it altogether. I'll find it.
You'll
Oh,
find
here
it.
we go. Action is to be taken to remove a Scotts Valley Advisory Council member
Oh,
instead of
yes.
an.
That's right. The paragraph before that, my glasses suck.
Well, and
So
it wasn't
just,
highlighted.
it's just grammar. So if
Yeah.
action is to be taken to remove AN Scotts Valley Advisory Council member, so it should be A instead of AN. Right?
So back so your proposal right now is to add 2 alternates.
It's a
Right.
proposal, yeah,
What was that?
a proposal.
Right, that's the proposal, is to add 2 alternates,
Mhm.
not increase the size of the vote.
Correct, but if it ever comes up that those alternates, I mean, it's just a proposal, but if we discuss that we want 7 or 6 or whatever, it might as well be what it is in every other bylaws, 50% plus one. That's what a quorum is. So it just makes it easier if in the future,
50% plus one is 3.
Yeah.
So it's,
of 5, but what if we're 7?
yeah.
It'd be
You're not
4
gonna
then.
be 7.
It'd be 4.
We haven't discussed if we want to increase it, it was just an
Yeah,
idea. So that's why I was thinking, we can leave it as it was, but if we put it this way, then it'll be clear why a quorum is 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Might-
we don't have to do that.
Might we wordsmith this and bring it back for June for approval? We seem to be in agreement.
Well,
We're
You're
focusing.
almost done with,
No, we're having a discussion.
there's one more
I know.
day.
This is just a presentation, and we discuss it, and then we give it to Supervisor Rasmussen. So there's a page 5. Okay, so the third bullet point, regular monthly or quarterly meetings shall be held at. So we shouldn't specify a place in case something comes up, or whole bylaws are not valid if we have to change the location for any reason. And it's like just
That's-
changing,
Yeah, you don't have to specify the
No.
location.
no,
The only legal requirement is that the meetings have to be within the boundary
Right.
of the advisory council.
and that's something that the Board of Supervisors has decided, right?
Well, it's under the law that you have to meet within your jurisdiction, wherever the board is. And your jurisdiction is this map here,
Right,
so you just have to
to stay in
be
there.
somewhere within that footprint.
Too bad we can't include City of Lakeport.
Well, I tried, I went through the whole legal review with county council, they said they cannot
Yeah.
use outside of the boundaries of where their jurisdiction is.
No, we can, yeah, it was just a thought. But at least if something comes up, we can't have a meeting here, we're not,
Bound by
Well,
that?
you have to be public accessible too, yes.
yeah, but we, you know,
can be at
it could be in the field, it could be
It could
wherever.
be in a field as long as the
Yeah.
public is allowed to go there.
Right, so I just thought we should remove that, so we're not held by a location.
Sorry, Thomas. Yeah, the only thing, if you remove it, that you might want to,
Now you're really loud. Am I not
If-
loud too?
the only thing that you might want to add, if you remove that, is that the meetings would be held within the jurisdiction of the council,
Okay,
just so that's,
so regular monthly or quarterly meetings shall be held at a place and time as determined by the council within,
the boundaries of,
The
within
bound-
the jurisdiction of the council,
yeah,
something like that.
Of the Scotts Valley Advisory Committee,
with the
the
Scots.
Scotts Valley Community Advisory Committee boundaries.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I have a thing that's bothering me. So keep looking at a majority of 50% plus 1. And I apologize, I have to be fussy, but if we have 5 people, 50% would be 2.5 people. So a majority would be 2.5 people plus 1 person would be 3.5. So that doesn't make any sense. So I think you have to say 4 people. If there are 5 people on the council, then 4 people is a quorum, or whatever you want it to be.
3 would be the quorum.
3 would be fine, I don't care what it is, but I think the language is confusing, or
But we don't have half people, but I think everywhere it's the same, right?
I don't know, I'd have to look at the other bylaws, but I do think that for some people, the point that Joel raises will cause
Right.
some confusion.
So should we scratch that?
Personally, I would leave it at 3 if your council is gonna be at 5 right now. Because if you decide down the road that you wanna increase this council to 7, you're still gonna have to update the bylaws again anyway. Like, right now, the proposal is for 2 alternates, right? But maybe next year, the proposal is to
Okay,
make the board actually 7 people instead of 5. So then you'd still have to update the bylaws again. So it might be easier. I think some people could get confused by the 50% plus one.
Good point. So it should say, instead of at
Just-
least 3 voting members, it should say
For-
3 voting members.
Well,
For-
that-
For example, in Rotary International and Toastmasters International bylaws, it's a majority vote, more than 50%. And that's in a lot of other bylaws of organizations throughout the thing. So what it says is you must have a majority vote. And so a
Right.
majority vote tells you whether you have more than 50%. You must have,
yeah, and you have to have 3 votes to
Right.
pass anything.
So we could just say a majority vote and skip the 3 and skip the 50%.
If you want to.
Yes.
that simplifies it, I think. It's pretty clear,
I think that's better.
right, Joel? That clears it for you?
I think-
Majority vote?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay.
Majority vote of the members would be more specific.
Of the active
Yeah,
members.
a majority of the total number of council members.
Well, that's what it
Uh,
says.
Okay,
If we're gonna
that's
have,
fine.
if we're gonna have, we might have active or alternates or whatever, so it'd be active members.
Right, the
So-
alternates wouldn't vote unless they're filling
Yeah.
in.
It would say a majority vote of,
Council members.
no, a majority vote, well, so voting members, they're all voting. Oh, wait, alternates wouldn't be voting, right?
No, Active members, that way if you activate them, they're active. If they're not involved, they're not. They're-
Well, the alternates are active.
Well, right now it says at least 3 voting members. It could say a majority of the voting members, right? Would that?
A
wouldn't that-
majority of voting members,
That, to me, that means the same thing as
right,
at least 3 voting members.
okay. A majority of voting members of the council shall constitute, I can't, shall be, whatever. Okay,
Shall
so,
constitute a quorum.
yes.
We
Okay.
constitute to pass a vote.
So with the changes that we discussed, I mean, all of these changes that we just talked about are non-issues, except for the thing that we still have to discuss, being the addition of 2 alternates. Is everybody in agreement with the grammar and correction and removals?
Yeah.
With the changes to the majority part?
I am.
Well, the alternate members,
And we haven't
they're
discussed
not
that,
part of the, whether
we haven't,
whether there's a quorum or not, right?
we haven't discussed that yet. I'm just talking about the grammar and everything else.
Okay, well, the alternate members don't vote unless someone of us is missing, say, and then an alternate steps in, right? Or something like that?
Correct.
So we're going to keep with 5 members, of which a majority would be 3. So I'm okay with that part.
Or if it's,
If that's the way, if that's what's clear, if the alternate members are considered in this 50% of the quorum, then, no, that changes it.
You want to stick with the word 3?
Yes, that's simple.
How do
I
you
like
feel
that.
about that?
or the,
Just decide,
I
yes, no.
Yes,
Keep the word 3 in there, keep the word 3 in there,
3.
yes.
3.
It's really not
It's not a,
brain surgery.
it's not a
Okay, so
big
these
deal.
changes under Article 5 will not be done, okay? Bullet point 1 will remain as written. Am I too loud?
No.
Oh. Okay, so is everyone okay with that? We're leaving the 3, and we're changing all the little other things we just discussed?
Right,
Did you have enough time to look at it all?
yes.
Okay, then we just need to go with,
We're talking about page 2 at
Article
the
fo-
top
yeah.
has the alternates.
page 2, Article 4, Section 1, Area of Representation. The wording, it stays the same as in the original with the addition of 2 alternates added. if we can find alternates.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can do this and then great if you find the alternates, but if you don't, for some reason, find them, then you're still operating. I mean, you're still just like you are today.
Right, right.
Right.
So
Yeah,
having
it's-
that little clause in there doesn't change anything.
No,
It
it's
just opens us up to,
just opens it up to add 2 alternates
Mhm.
that would be available to cover if a member was absent.
does anyone not want that in there?
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
We need more people here. More people who understand what's going on and are willing to step up when 2 or 3 of us decide we can't handle it next year.
Well, the one advantage, if you go up to 7 members, what that does, if you put in the bylaws that we can expand up to 7 members, you can always implement that because it's in the bylaws. You don't have to implement it right away, but it
Right,
does give you an option. Secondly, when
that's what
we're
Betsy
concerned
said.
would be about the Brown Act. When we're contacting people on a Brown Act, and you have 7 members, and right now, we can only talk to 1 other person, and not to constitute a quorum of an outside meeting.
Right.
You got 7 members, now can you talk to 2, but not go beyond that?
Yes. If you had 7 members, 3 members could have a meeting to discuss an item outside the purview of the public or the council. Just like right now, 2 of you can go off and talk about an item, just not a majority of the council. So you're limited to 2, not 3. If you had 7 members, it would bump that up to 3 of you could discuss an item without it being a Brown Act violation.
So it's good in every respect.
Well, I mean, it
Give you an
just
option,
depends
doesn't
on
It doesn't
what you
hurt.
want to do. I mean, my concern with increasing it to 7 would be, are you going to be able to find those folks?
Probably not.
I think you might be better off with adding the 2 alternates and seeing how that goes.
That was my
And
thinking.
then you can always, to Greg's point, I don't know that you can have it in there where you can bounce back and forth between,
Yeah.
oh, now we want to go 7, but next month we want to drop it back to 5. I think
No, I
that
didn't
would
mean it
be,
that way.
what's that?
I didn't mean it that
Okay.
way.
Yeah, I didn't think so, but I just want to clarify. We've either got to decide that you want to have 7 members or 5 members with 2 alternates. My recommendation would be you start with the alternates, see if you can recruit those alternates, and then if everything goes well, maybe you want to increase it, maybe you want to change the bylaws again. It's no big deal to change the bylaws. It can come back to the board whenever you want it to.
Okay.
So,
Takes about 2 or 3 months though, so.
right, it just takes time
Right.
to do that, but that's just my thought right now, just to make sure we're not getting us in a situation where we've increased it to 7 and can't find 2 more.
Yes, that's why I was thinking alternates as well.
Brad and Tom, I don't mean to deviate the subject, but the other advisory council meetings, are they getting a larger audience than we have here?
Yeah, most of them, well, I've been to Middletown Town Hall, that's got a pretty big showing. Upper Lake, Worth does. I haven't been to a Central Region Town Hall, but what I've seen on video didn't look like a huge amount. I know the East Region gets quite a few, and Cobb gets a good attendance, so I would say, yeah, this might be the least attended town hall that there is.
I
Big
guess-
Valley, last week we had 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 people there, outside the council and the supervisors.
Okay,
But
so similar.
Usually it has a few more than that.
Yeah. So maybe it's our name. Maybe we should become a town hall. It'll attract more people. I'm just kidding.
Did you have are you open to public comment yet?
Yeah, we're gonna, I'm asking the public now. Do you have any input in it? Because I'm curious about what draws people and what makes them, what is the item that they hear about that says, oh, I want to come? Obviously, we're not, I try to call people, I send emails to everybody in the valley.
You know, Greg, we're not controversial.
This is Tom. Yeah, so Supervisor Rasmussen's I would say Cobb has about the same turnout, maybe just a few people more than here. And Central Region is again just a few people more, but then the other ones are significantly more. You know, Earth might have 50 people on a good month, and then Math, for example, they were voting on a park, and it was at least 30 people in the room.
Yeah, so they have more interesting topics for discussion.
Well, it doesn't necessarily. I think you guys invite people just like they do, and the same people that come here very often are hitting all of the town halls. So it's. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know the culture of this area, but to answer your original question, I would say you're probably near the bottom as far as attendance. Yeah, Scott is the only one that's actually from Scotts Valley that's here. So
What's that, do you have somebody online?
Well, no, I mean, I can give you guys a better, more accurate count on that every
Yeah.
single one of the meetings.
Right,
We had 8 at the last Big Valley,
okay.
12 at the last Cobb Area Council, nearly 30 at the Middletown Area Town Hall, 55 at the Eastern Region Town Hall. There was only 11 at this last Central Region Town Hall. Then we were 38 and 40 at the last Western Region Town Hall, which varies from month to month. They could be very well as high as Eastern Region Town Hall, which I will say between Eastern Region and Middletown Area Town Hall are the two most attended.
Right.
Do they have a bigger area?
And, well, I'm going to hazard a guess without researching the population numbers, but I think that the Scotts Valley Advisory Council boundary is probably one of the lower populated town halls. And I don't necessarily think it's the name. Some use the town hall, I guess. Most of them maybe do, but in the valley itself, you've only got 200-300 people.
Right.
The Upper Lake Town Hall boundary has 1,000 or 2 people.
And a much bigger square
The
mile.
Middletown boundary has a lot more.
Yeah.
I would believe Cobb does too. So I think the amount of people that live in your municipal advisory area is smaller. And it kind of depends on the issues too. Like, there's one topic that that's a topic of public concern right now that comes up at some of those town halls that wouldn't necessarily come up here because you don't have, like the mobile home rents. I don't believe there's any mobile
Right.
home parks out in the Scotts Valley boundary. This is just one example that does bring some people out because that topic's been discussed at some of their meetings. It's also something that the Board of Supervisors is looking at. So I think it has something to do also with the topics that are out there and what you're dealing with. Yeah,
So
as
I'm
far as
just
attendance.
I'm just curious if
Thank you.
those have been to the other town hall meetings or advisory committees. Does anybody else discuss flooding as much as we do? Are we the only one with a flood situation?
Upper Lake regularly talks about the levees and flood concerns in Upper Lake.
So
That's a constant.
could would it be something to consider having a joint meeting to discuss that flooding situation? Would that accomplish anything? Would it be beneficial?
Well, I think that's something that you could do because Scotts Valley boundary does run up against the Worth boundary out here at Highway 20, where this boundary goes all the way to 20, right? For Scotts Valley.
Blue Lakes.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
fact,
Blue Lakes.
some of your boundary is in District 3.
Correct.
And that borders the Worth boundary, that's Upper Lake Town Hall.
Right.
Now, the flooding, a lot of the flooding concerns they're talking about are related to the Middle Creek and different creeks that feed into the Rodman Slough. Scotts Valley does too, but, you know, so that the flooding concerns are gonna be different. But again, if you wanted to have a joint town hall with Upper Lake regarding anything that might be of a mutual concern, that's something that you could reach out to them and see if they were interested in doing it. They're doing the joint meetings now once or twice a year with the three North Shore town halls. So that's something down the road you can do, but we're a little bit off the bylaws.
Yeah, I know.
I think having a joint meeting would be a good thing.
Put it on the agenda for a discussion in the future,
Yeah.
discussion about reaching out for a joint meeting. But as far as back to I guess you guys need to get consensus on whether or not you want the two alternates and how you want to move forward. Unless there's other public comment, I don't know if there is.
So going way back, when you're talking about the definition of the boundaries, I was wondering if properties that are accessed from I'm wondering if the properties that are accessed from Hill Road, like this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I'm wondering, going back to the original discussion of who's in the boundaries, are properties that are accessed from Hill Road West, are they in the Scotts Valley Advisory Council? Okay, and just to bring this to why it's in my mind, is that when I go to the back of my property and I reach Scotts Creek, the other shore of Scotts Creek is accessed from Hill Road West, as I understand it. Or, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is influenced by what's next to them, and I agree that it would be great if they would be included. I can't tell from this tiny little thing if that property is included. Some of them are if they touch the creek, so I'm thinking you have to look.
Yeah, and I wasn't really sure when you read it whether you were talking about, I think, bordering Scotts Valley. I didn't know if you really meant Scotts Valley Road.
No,
So,
well, the definition that Supervisor Green and this council came up with, we wanted to make it as big as possible, but we had to have some kind of parameter. So Scotts Creek and all the way up to where it starts, and and then he said, well, you got to stop somewhere. I said, well, District 3 goes to the county border, but he wanted it to stay within something that people lived in, which we could have a parcel number that we could reach people who might be part of the council. So, and then we expanded it to be anything connected to a tributary to Scotts Creek itself. So I'm thinking, if I could see well enough, and I think I know where you live, I think the other side of your creek boundary is included. I have to look. I have to go look.
the other side of the creek, I don't think it's part of my property. My understanding is the middle of the creek is the property line.
But I mean, what I'm talking about is the other side of your property.
The other bank.
Where does he live?
I'm trying to find that. Where's Scotts Valley Road?
This is Icon. Right, and this is Scotts Creek, right?
Yeah.
So all these parcels are part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it looks to me like the other side of the creek parcels are included.
Okay, and then, you know, so another place that I'm fuzzy about, would it be included, when we're up at the, I guess we call it the gated or valved culvert, and you walk down to the creek there, you go about 50 feet, and you look across the creek, is that property then in the boundaries of the advisory council?
I
Again,
emailed-
everywhere on the other side of the creek becomes,
I
seems to
emailed
me it
this.
really has to be involved in the advisory council, yeah.
I agree. So, but I emailed this map to you, and it's also available on the website. And it looks to me like all those areas you're talking about are included looking on this. I can't really see
Okay.
that small.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah, but if you...
Supervisor just showed it to me, I can't read that map in an instant, you know?
No, but if you look at the one that I emailed you, you can blow it up and see the, this is Scotts Creek, right? And so you're somewhere here.
Well, that's the straightaway, I guess, is it,
That's the
right?
creek.
Yeah, and so you're saying, where's the, it's all the pink stuff?
This is our boundary.
Okay, meaning the,
So all ours would be in that.
okay,
This is Icon Road, and this is,
okay, yeah, that's a tremendous, okay, that's good.
yeah, so,
So I don't remember how you described that, it confused me, but anyway, that's great.
I think so, and the old one was just a block, so,
Right,
yeah,
because we really organized about flooding.
right.
Yeah, that was the original focus.
But
Okay.
it didn't have any enough clear boundary to see, we needed to talk
Yeah.
back. Yeah, but I think if this is the creek, and everything I'm touching the creek is included.
Great. Okay, that clarifies that. And then one other thing, this thing about the alternates. Okay, will an alternate have the Brown Act exclusion from discussions? So, because, I mean, this whole thing about, this whole Brown Act thing is just, you know, I almost feel like saying, well, I'm not on the council, so I'm just going to ignore it, I don't understand it. You
It's
know, but
annoying.
if you get these alternates, then beyond the meeting, can they discuss any of the issues if they're an alternate waiting to be appointed? I just don't understand that either, so.
Yes, they're gonna have to be, the Brown Act would apply. Like, it even applies to people that are elected before they take office. So, I think that would be, if you had 7 people, I'm gonna have to talk to legal counsel, but would that mean that then 3 of you could talk, but I'm pretty sure that the Brown Act is gonna apply to the alternates, the same as it would to you, based on what I know about that.
And how does that apply to ad hoc committees?
It doesn't apply to an ad hoc as long as the ad hoc is temporary in nature, and it doesn't have a majority of your governing body on it. So if you did an ad hoc, like you had this last one on the general plan, that was 2 of you, and it was temporary, there's no Brown Act issue.
And if you add an alternate, then it would be.
Potentially, yes, I think it would be. I think we're gonna have to treat alternates as if they were a council member, as if they were a voting member.
Then we might as well add them as council members.
What was that?
Then we might as well have them as council members.
Yeah, except that if you can't recruit them, then it's gonna be,
Right, right. Just for the future, it's a
yeah.
good thing to think about.
yeah.
Okay, I hope we've chewed this up and spit it out, because we need to move on. Yes, Margot.
Okay, so one is a suggestion that will probably be pretty wild. We talk about getting more participation, et cetera. So your boundaries are set and they've been revised to be more inclusive. Here's something else. And then input from Supervisor Rasmussen is needed too. I don't know if your boundaries include parts of North Lakeport, because I don't think they're represented by a municipal area council at all. And I don't know if this council feels magnanimous or otherwise to include them within your boundaries. And maybe that's, just a bridge too far. So that's one topic. The other is a suggestion. On your alternates, you might want to define the term, 1 year, 2 years. And secondly, on your officers, you might want to describe the mechanism or the process for selecting your officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Anything else on this particular, on the Business Council items 1 and 2? I think we covered it pretty good today.
I have a quick question of Margot. What do you mean by defining selection? It's not in here?
No, she was saying the term that they serve.
No, after that, she
Oh,
said the
okay.
selection of...
Yeah, if it's in here, sorry, I missed it. But how is the chair selected? How are your officers selected?
It's in here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just can't remember where. Oh, it's on section 3, appointments to the council. Well, whoever gets nominated has to be approved by the supervisor. Section 2 also.
2-year appointment cycles.
Yeah, application, you're responsible for your application to the Board of Supervisors. And then after you put in your application, the Board of Supervisors will appoint the person. That makes sense?
Yeah, but I just also noticed, that it talks about you have the ability to request also the members present or the public at a meeting to weigh in on members. And, hang on one second. And it also says the nominated shall attend 2 meetings here. So if you're going to remove that in the other spot, that could be an issue in section 3. There was somewhere else that you talked about
Yeah.
removing the 2 meetings, right?
The 2 meeting requirement, that if we have an alternate, that they be required to have attended 2 meetings, which we struck out. But here it is in this section 3.
That's appointments to the council, not to office.
Oh, okay.
But I guess that applies
Yeah,
to
would apply,
alternates
yeah.
too, right? But that's just if less than 5 applicants apply.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're desperate.
Okay. Did you have that?
Yeah.
Under section 4, board structure and officer duties, the second line, maybe it's a typo. It says the committee will hold a roll call election. I don't know if you mean committee or council, or if it is a committee, what committee is this?
Oh, yeah. It should be either council or committee. Which one? It should definitely, we're not a committee,
Well, you have council up above it.
right? But the committee will hold a roll call election.
Yeah, unless you're going to have
So the only committee would be the subcommittee for, in case less than 5 applicants apply. In section 3. I'm assuming that's what the committee means. Does that make sense? No?
No, but that's okay.
No, we need to simplify this whole thing. Let's get rid of the word committee. I think it's
Change
meant
it
to
to
say council. Everyone agree?
That
Yes.
makes more sense to me.
All right, section 4, scratch out the word committee and replace it with the word council. I missed that one. Thank you, Margot. Did I miss anything else?
I have a question. Are we Scotts Valley Community Advisory Council or Scotts Valley Advisory Council?
Originally, it was the Scotts Valley Advisory Council. I don't know where the word committee came in. Community came in, and I think that we should go back to just
It's
being
been
Scotts Valley
community,
Advisory Council.
it's been community for years and years.
But in the
But we
founding,
could change it, I mean, there's nothing wrong
in
with
the
it.
founding bylaws, it wasn't.
Yeah, so we can
Yeah,
eliminate the community and just make it advisory council.
yeah, it'll be easier. How do you feel about that?
I say, save a word.
It's CAC. Yeah, we don't need
S.V.A.C.
S.V.A.C, right?
Yes.
So-
S.V.A.C sounds very
Right.
nice to me.
So the reason I didn't add community in here was because it wasn't in the bylaws that we're changing.
Let's go with it.
Okay? Everyone
So-
okay with that?
Yep.
It's the name that it was originally, Scotts Valley Advisory Council. Yeah. At some
Yeah.
point, community came into effect, but that was never in the original bylaws. And I think it's unnecessary.
Well, none of the other advisory councils use the word community at all.
It's just, it's not necessary.
Yeah, no, I think we straightened that out.
So I think one of Margot's questions was it, how do you decide on your officers? Is that, so the way I read section 4 is where it says what the council shall consist of, and where it says they shall hold a roll call election for these posts immediately following confirmation. I think what's been happening is, because every year the board has to reappoint a number of members.
Every year.
Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. And then as soon as we do that at the beginning of the year, once we've done that, then they have their meeting and they re-vote on who's chairman, who's vice chairman, et cetera. So I think that's how it's been operating under that section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on this subject?
Any other things that we might have missed that we can change at this opportunity?
Not
Shall we
se-
put this thing to rest and give it to?
Not seeing on this move into updates?
Wait, sorry. We got to vote. So if we vote all these changes that we just discussed, we have to vote.
What is your motion?
I motion to vote on the proposed changes to the bylaws and present them to Supervisor Rasmussen for review.
That would be, your motion should say as amended tonight.
Right.
To
As a minute and night vote
modify
on the changes.
your
of the vote.
motion to as amended, because you've made some other changes that weren't in this draft.
Whatever Brad just said.
So it should read, the motion to change the bylaws as amended tonight at this meeting.
Right.
To read in what we present to the supervisor for their approval.
Right. So we're voting to approve the changes to the bylaw as amended by discussion at today's meeting.
And there was no changes in the boundary, is that correct? We kept the same on the boundary.
I will make these into, all the changes we discussed, I will email them to everyone.
And no, the boundary is not part of this right now.
No, the boundary is already approved by
Yeah.
the Board of Supervisors. Yeah. So does everybody agree to vote? Has everybody agreed to the changes as
Well,
amended by?
we need a second on that
Oh.
kind of motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Jody, will second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, nays, abstention, motion carries.
Phew.
Now, because you have this in, in two parts. On the agenda, you're going to need a second motion
Oh,
to add the alternate members if the council so chooses.
okay. Somebody else want to do this?
I'll make a motion to add two additional, or two alternate council members to the Scotts Valley Advisory Committee.
I second that.
Second by Jody. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstention, motion carries. We're done.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much.
Okay, can I ask Cornelia that you send me another copy with what was added additionally tonight?
I'm going to send everyone a copy as to changes that I perceived, and you can make sure that you look at them and make sure I did it right.
Okay, and then I will get that on a future board meeting.
Okay.
Tomorrow?
No, it won't be.
Yes.
A future board meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Right.
asking a bit much.
It'll have to be at least 2 weeks from tomorrow, but more likely it'll be the middle of June.
There's no rush. I just want to check it off my to-do list.
Okay, let's go on to updates, calendars, and miscellaneous reports. Supervisor S.V.A.C, do you have anything to report for us?
Yes, I just wanted to let the council know that the Board of Supervisors is still in the process of interviewing for a vacant public health director and public health officer, which is our county doctor. We're in the process of interviewing for those two positions that aren't currently filled on a permanent status. We do have our assistant CAO, who has been designated as the interim director of health services while we're in this process, and he did have some prior knowledge and experience with that department. And then on the public health officer side, we had two backup doctors that was signed contracts from back more than a year or so ago that were already available to fill in if we didn't have our doctor available. So we're getting all those duties handled by those two contractors that we already had. The governor on Wednesday released the state, his revision of the state budget. Prior to that happening, we were already aware that with federal changes on H.R. 1, that the federal government was pushing a lot of funding responsibility for health and human services type activities back on states and counties. So we had hoped that the state would help cover any federal shortfalls to keep the counties in a position to still provide the services at the same levels that we had been prior to H.R. 1. However, there's a lot of things in the governor's budget revision that don't sufficiently cover health and human services activities in Lake County, that we don't have extra general fund money to put in there to cover those. Now, this is not final. This is the governor's May revision to the legislature. It's got to go through them, see what they decide to do before anything's final on the state budget. But I'm just mentioning it that I've got a concern with some of our services that if the state doesn't sufficiently fund those, it's going to be problematic in Lake County. And when I say health and human services, that's public health department activities, that's programs of the social services department, and that's programs of behavioral health. One of the things with behavioral health is, in fact, they just had the meeting on the updated behavioral health services plan, where the state has dictated, here's how you need to provide services with the amount of money we're giving you. Here's how you have to do it. One of the things that changed in there is it didn't provide keeping the peer centers that we had open in their current form. So like in Lakeport, you had the Circle of Native Minds, which was a peer center for people to walk in that might need behavioral health services. It also had the component of the tribal elders. They have since gone out on their own and moved over to an office on the North Shore. And then there was another peer center in Clear Lake Oaks and another one in Clear Lake. And then the next concern with them is the state has proposed to change the funding allocations for how mobile crisis is funded. And that was our mobile crisis responders that would go out in a van and respond to live calls for service for people that were in a crisis. And that's tied to that 988 number. And so if that stays the same with the state funding, we're going to end up not having mobile crisis either, because that funding is going to end at the end of this year of 26.
Wow.
And so the response calls type of things they're going to are like things that the police shouldn't be dealing with that would be a 911 call, but the person's in kind of a mental health crisis and they need help and not police to come deal with them. So I think that's going to be a major issue for our county. So that's some of the budget concerns. And again, this has to go through the state legislature. Our behavioral health director has testified in Sacramento to the importance of why we need to keep mobile crisis. And so we'll keep working on it. I don't know what the ultimate result's going to be at the end of this budget cycle before July, but that's where we are now. Let's see. Just wanted to mention that the Rodeo Association, back in, before I was on the board, I think it was in early '24, the Board of Supervisors gave them a lease on a good-sized chunk of land out in North Lakeport that was part of our water and sewer irrigation acreage. We have 1,600 acres that are just over the hill from Scotts Valley.
Right,
That's
other side of Icon.
the sewer district property. We have all that irrigation land that now the water goes out to the geysers, so we're not using all that. So they leased a good chunk, I don't remember the exact acreage, to the Rodeo Association, who's a nonprofit that's eventually going to build a new rodeo grounds. That's their plan. This is years down the road to get a rodeo grounds built. But the reason I'm mentioning it now is one of the things that they want to do right away is put in a contained area that would serve as a large animal evacuation area. So let's say we had a fire somewhere and we needed horses, big animals, and we needed a place to take them
Right.
to get them out of a fire zone. That could potentially be a place that they're working on.
Is-
So,
Is that's the cattle ranch area above the sewage plant that you can access from Scotts Valley if those gates are open, where we used to go through?
correct.
Okay.
It's not right exactly where you're talking about,
Mhm.
but it's
That area.
it's in that area of that whole 1,600 acres. I can get the better, once I go out there and look at it with them, but just wanted you to be aware that was something that was,
Well, it would be nice
and
if that ever came up and, you know, whoever owns that would come back to agreeing to open it up, having public,
right, and I think there's
during
some private
floods.
property there that's,
Yeah, we always had, I mean, for 20 years, we had Public Works have a key to that gate so we could evacuate But then something happened a couple years ago, and they have refused to open it during floods and fires and whatever. I mean,
Right.
if there's a fire, we'll just bulldoze the gate, but it's, oops. But, I mean, an emergency is an emergency, but it
Right.
was nice during floods to
They'll
be
just
able
use
to leave.
a master key. A master key.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that
Yeah.
maybe that can be resolved down the road, but,
Yeah, I just want to keep it top of mind in
Yeah.
case it comes up.
yeah, okay. And I think that was it for what I wanted to let you know tonight, unless you have any questions.
We got some candidates for the Director of Health Services.
Yes, we have candidates, yes.
Okay, let's go on to item 2, groundwater fire mitigation and infrastructure.
And flooding.
And flooding.
We added flooding.
And flooding.
I've noticed a lot of extra attention to the roadways, weed whacking, which is a good thing.
Yes.
And other than that, I don't have anything. Sky? Flooding?
Sure.
Yes. You have been added to number B. A standing thing.
Okay, so for those of us who can remember when the valve or gated culvert installation was designed, and does everyone know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So that was originally formulated by, I think he was then, it's hard to keep track whether he was Roads or Public Works, but Lyle Schwartz. And his original plan included to put an engine-driven generator in that would power a pump that would regularly run on line voltage, and it would pump water over from the culvert into the creek, and presumably when the flows in the creek would allow it. So what we got was a budget job that didn't include the generator and include this gated thing that requires a person to go out and open it and close it when the flow can go through the culvert and thus drain the ditch along Scotts Valley Road. Well, we have seen that operation of that is a problem at times, and it's not perfect, but just remember that the original design was to put a pumping station in there that would take over when the flow through the culvert wasn't adequate. We need to bring that idea back. We need to improve that system and get back to the situation that Lyle Schwartz originally designed.
Thank you.
I'd like to respond to that one, if I might. So I agree with Sky. And it sounds like an extra expense, but I think that it's a labor saver, however. Nobody has to monitor the levels. Presumably that's done automatically, and the pump would turn on when the levels are at the right height. And someone would have to figure out what the right height is, but enough so that water would be pumped out of the ditch into Scotts Creek to tend to prevent flooding along Scotts Valley Road. So anyway, the way it is now, someone from the county, and there's a problem knowing who it is from the county, has to come out and monitor it. I don't know if they have telemetry or, field camera or something to monitor the levels. And I don't know what their protocol is for when the water levels are right to turn on, to open up the valve. But someone has to come out and look at it, as far as I know. And then when they feel like it, someone has to open the valve. Then they have to monitor it and decide when to close the valve and then close the valve. So all that is extra labor, so and I presume these people are being paid adequately in the county. So those are costs that would be saved if we had an electric system with an electric pump. Also, it's a better system in that it can pump water over even when the valve needs to be closed. That is to say, when Scotts Creek is too high and there's a danger of water flowing backwards south into the roadside ditch, when the water is too high, the valve needs to be closed, but the pump could still be on. So you get a better result overall. So there's cost savings and a better result by having a pump there.
Well, the pump situation might be functionally ideal, but we should have some engineering research done to see if we can create a suction system that doesn't require a pump. And then number two, we need to fix the breach in the levee before we even consider these other options.
I might suggest having Water Resources come out again to one of these meetings. I know they do have, to Joel's question, they have remote monitoring capability on the water levels. I had conversations with them back, when was that you called me out? Back in the fall? I was out here, we were monitoring it.
Yeah.
And the guy got here,
Middle of I think later than fall, I'd say January, just from memory.
yeah, so what their setup is, they're supposed to be keeping an eye on the remote monitoring that they have access to online, and then also live checks as well for finding out when they need to open and close it.
Yeah, so when the road is flooded, it's hard for them to get there.
Well, I think at that point, yeah, that is a problem, but up until the road, was the road flooded when I came out with you? Yeah, we
It
had.
had been the day before, I think. The day before you came out, it had been flooded. I think by the time you got out there, the water was down. At least down enough that you could drive through it on
Yeah.
Scotts Valley Road.
Well, I think it'd be helpful if we got Water Resources out here. They're responsible, that's their infrastructure. It's not Public Works.
Oh, okay.
Public Works does assist them with manpower if they don't have anybody available to open and close.
Mhm.
But the infrastructure itself, as I understand from research after meeting up with Joel, is that this is a water resource infrastructure.
So it makes sense for it to be automated. It'll save, in case access is not possible.
Yeah.
That's, would be, probably the technology now is better than it was then, and we could come up with something maybe battery powered or whatever.
And I'm sure it would have to be engineered, like Jared was saying. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to have to do an engineering study if they were going to put some automated system there, but I think we can just have a discussion with them.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, we can create a monitoring system with game cameras on this thing to generate more information for nickels and dimes. I mean, that's nothing expense-wise. If we could push on Water Resources, maybe to get that in place next winter, which is such a small cost.
I'd say, I agree with Jared too about at least investigating a suction system. So someone is saying if you add a piece of culvert to the existing culvert, but bending the water at 45 degrees, so water from the creek does not backflow back into the roadside culvert, but creates a suction tending to create extra flow through from the ditch into the creek. Now, that seems like a pretty good passive system. Someone needs to engineer that or say, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. And we can do it in the summer because the water's down. We can just weld on another piece of pipe and that'll help. And that might be an easy, distinct, not too complicated system that could help out.
And the operating cost would be peanuts compared to a pumping system.
Yes, low cost for operation.
Well, here's my concern on this whole thing. We started quite a while back to try to address this flooding thing 6, 7 years ago. And we had a supervisor that took our money elsewhere, and we did not get a chance to use that money at that time to focus on the studies and the environmental impact reports and things we needed to do. Now, I guess today we do have some money that's available to us, and I guess some of these environmental studies and reports and this testing is being done now. But what I'm hearing now is other ideas to do this. What kind of environmental tests and things do we have to pass to change this thing, to get it down? I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm a guy, when I put out a fire, I put the shovel to the dirt and I put it on the fire. It doesn't take an environmental study to put the fire out. And so with all the laws and restraints and all the different interests involved here, we have to learn that the changes require us to be patient, but how much longer are we going to be patient until it's just going to continue? We're going to continue having the BLM erosion problem that's going to continue to put a lot of water down through here, as well as the mountainsides all over that just flood this place. And so that's why I was trying to hope maybe if we had a meeting with the third district advisory committee, whatever, to look at an overall plan of their plans of levies and our plan here, and to get a large part of the county involved in looking at everybody's benefits. And maybe that could be something that could be offered up to the Water Resources Department to take an overall plan and put a project with a committed time of trying to solve this problem. And so let's collaborate and come alongside each other to try to pull in resources, because money's tight. I don't have any other idea that I can consider there, but like I said, I have been trying for over 7 years to put I mean, it used to be, let's face it, years ago before all this, Dill Savers got down there with the bulldozers, cleaned it out, and we didn't have this problem. But now we have to provide by the ordinances and environmental stipulations, so we have to, I'm just wondering, maybe if we collaborate with the third district town hall and we look at this, maybe a larger group with many ideas can focus on the overall area and come up with a solution that may be beneficial to all the areas of Upper Lake and Scotts Valley, and how we can put something in there that might benefit everybody in there for a major project that might be last long.
Sounds good.
Okay, anything else on floods?
Another aspect of this is we don't any longer have any way to monitor the flows coming out of the BLM land. And that is the core basic issue, is there's all this water flowing out of the BLM land, at least it appears to me, that's overtaxing the ability of Scotts Creek to carry it. And that's a complicated issue. It's federal land. They've abandoned the gauges up there. We don't have any way to have that data. And this is terrible, what's going on. And that is really, all these things we're doing to try to get the water downstream and figure out how to pump it and all that, if we could just get them to stop the excessive flows up there, that's all work that we're not going to be able to stick Band-Aids on downstream.
Well, isn't that what we call Mike Thompson?
I'm not really sure on that.
BLM.
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure how to, I do agree that it needs to be engineered. I do like an idea of,
Can you speak up?
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So the idea of it being an engineer is probably sound. I think the Venturi effect of the downstream angle seems great, but it does need to be engineered because you could have unintended consequences such as debris getting clogged in an angular culvert. But I think having water resources, if I may suggest, to sort of springboard off Supervisor Rasmussen's suggestion to get water resources out here to have that conversation. The technology does exist to automatically turn pumps on and off from a remote location. We've got all sorts of great technology now. It doesn't even require, you know, Wi-Fi, or you can have Starlink or whatever. Anyway.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and before Brad was elected, we had a number of people from different water resources out here lecturing us, providing us information. And I would call up after the meetings and call them, and a month later says, will you be able to come back and give us a report of what you told us, what you've done? Oh yeah, well, let's plan a meeting. Okay, so I tried for quite a while to get some follow-up, and I finally called the then supervisor there and probably told him what I thought of his operation. Because I got tired of saying, we're trying to make things done here and we're fighting this. I have a lot of hope now that Brad's here, and I hope that maybe logic will come into play, but I'm frustrated with this over and over and over and over every meeting. Flood. And I am behind the scenes. I've talked to county people. I've talked to Supervisor Green a lot about it. And that's why I call him the Riddler. Remember Batman, the Riddler? And that's the Riddler. So hopefully the new horizons ahead of us, and maybe there's some progress that can be done with water resources. And definitely we want to put them on our calendar. And if we can ever nail down BLM to show up and get them their feet in the fire here, maybe we can get some attention for what their capabilities or restrictions or limitations are if they can help us. Yes, Margo.
A quick comment. To piggyback on Supervisor Rasmussen's suggestion of inviting water resources, it might be helpful to ask Director Upadahe to expand on the Scotts Valley study. It was mentioned briefly at the Big Valley Sustainability Groundwater Management Plan meeting in April. So there's work being at least thought of on that Scotts Valley study, and it encompasses flooding. So I don't know details, but that'd be another opportunity to get more information. Thank you.
Margo, did you get the name of that person?
Right.
Jarrett?
Brad has something.
Okay, I just say.
Yeah, that's the flood study that we've talked about.
Right.
Previous meetings, that we've signed all those contracts. That I think it's already started, or if not, it's any day. They only had a year to get it done, starting right about this time, so it should already be in progress.
Good.
And so we can get an update on that at the same time.
Okay, and who's the person that could tell us?
Director Apadier from Water Resources.
You got that down, Jared? Okay, so we need to make contact with him somehow.
Yeah, but he's out of town until the end of the month.
Okay,
That's all right.
it
Yeah,
won't flood by then.
yeah.
Right, no flooding allowed.
No flooding, right. I'll second. All right, anything else on flooding? Fire mitigation, infrastructure. Okay, let's move on to the council member updates. Joel, anything?
Wait, you skipped C.
That's what he's doing now.
Oh, where am I at?
Margot would like to
Oh,
speak.
Margot is.
I'm sorry, I didn't see her there. I apologize. Margot, you're right. We promised you time there, and I wrote it down. I was looking at the wrong agenda. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Council, Assembly, Margot Kambara, General Plan Advisory Committee member representing District 4. I have several points to share with you, but first, congratulations and thanks go to Scotts Valley Advisory Council and to its work group on the General Plan and Local Area Plan. Special thanks go to the work group members, Jared Hendricks, Jody Altick, and Sky Hoyt. Yay!
And Margot.
And Margot, yes.
It was my pleasure and honor. Very special thanks go to Council Member Cornelia Sieber-Davis for her help with communications. It's appreciated. My second point that I wanted to share with you is that, again, congratulations. A General Plan Advisory Committee member and member of a local area plan advisory committee recognized your letter to the Board of Supervisors with recommendations on the updated general plan and local area plan. She recognized it for the thought behind it and the generosity of spirit to share that with the rest of the county. So thank you and congratulations. Third point is notes on the local area plan meetings hosted by CDD are posted. And these notes are one of the inputs on the updated local area plan. So if corrections or revision to these notes are needed, please let CDD know as soon as possible. And that email address is lakecounty2050@lakecountyca.gov. So if you want to find where those notes are, it's a little Byzantine with the way they're nested on the website. So I have my audiovisual guide here, and the website is lakecounty2050.org. You go to events, then you go to past meeting materials.
Past what?
Past meeting materials.
Okay.
Then you need to drill down to local area plan advisory committees. And then you need to drill down again and look for March to April 2026. And then, you're not done yet, look for Lakeport area plan, because that's where the Scotts Valley, that's the area plan for Scotts Valley is going to be in the Lakeport area plan. Now, with all this said, the final drafts are expected in August. The General Plan Advisory Committee Chair has requested another meeting of the body to review the final drafts for the inclusion of General Plan Advisory Committee input. And if all goes well, the final drafts will be presented to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors. Board of Supervisor approval or acceptance of the general plan and local area plans would conclude the update project. And all this is expected to wrap up before the end of this year. Now, for those who have not had a chance to read the your local area plan or the general plan, fear not. It's not too late. I will show you how to find these things. So again, go to the website, lakecounty2050.org. Now you're going to go under documents, and then you're going to go to general plan documents. And the general plan is broken up into chapters by topic. Then you're going to look for the local area plan for our area, and that's going to be Lakeport area elements. And then you can catch up. You can read and then be ready in August when we get the final drafts. And I will share 2 more points, and that is a lesson learned is that to achieve the goals of the general plan and the local area plan, several of us on the General Plan Advisory Committee realize it takes continuous work. You can't just work on a plan and put it on the shelf and 20 years later dust it off and say, now where are we? No, if we want this tool to work for us, we need to work on it continuously. What Kelseyville area residents have determined or are leaning towards is to revise the plan, the local area plan, in 5 years, and perhaps every 5 years after that. So that's still being discussed. I just wanted to share that with you. So this is the general plan and local area plan update. I don't know if you want to hear other upcoming dates on land use issues. Should I wait for that to come up on another section of C?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so here are some upcoming dates on hearings and meetings. Okay, so on Tuesday, May 19th, tomorrow, there's an appeal hearing on Rancho Lake.
On
This
what?
is, sorry?
Say that.
Oh, sorry. It's a hearing on, appeal hearing on Rancho Lake.
Oh, okay.
Rancho Lake.
That's the name of the project. It's a major use permit. Among the issues are water availability, cannabis odor, and farmland protection zone equity. Here's another date, Thursday, May 28th. There's a planning commission hearing on Lake Cocoa Farms major use permit, and this project is in Scotts Valley. The issues include water availability, cannabis odor, and road safety. On Saturday, May 30th, there is a well water workshop at Clear Lake Senior Center. And I don't have the exact times. I think it's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the location, I already gave you. One of the sponsors is Big Valley Band of Pomo Indians EPA office, and a California entity that I don't remember. I tried to find a flyer, I couldn't find it. I heard this on the radio on Sarah Ryan's Water and Environment Hour show. So that's all the information I had. It sounds like a very interesting program on water quality, especially for those who use well water. And then the last date I have is Tuesday, June 2nd, and that is a Board of Supervisors hearing on amendments to the cannabis ordinance. Of interest to neighbors is that permits, cannabis permits will not expire. Permit renewal is one of the few leverage points for ordinance compliance. Also on June 2nd, there will be a presentation by Public Works on the county road plan and priorities for improving our roads. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that report, Margot. What will you do without you?
I know, I was just gonna say, don't ever leave.
You kind of remind me of the two brothers over 100 years ago. The two brothers said we will be able to fly, and they were right. Okay, let's move on to council member updates. Joel, anything to offer?
No, thank you.
Okay, Jared,
No.
any control burning?
Well, we got in some good burns on Tom and Margot's at the edge of the Scotts Creek watershed.
Good.
Created a really good model of land management and fire
Microphone.
protection. So that's about the only burning in our watershed that I'm aware of this year.
Okay. Jody?
Nothing here.
Anything happening? Cornelia, anything on the Summerfest?
I have had a little bit of a difficulty getting a venue, and so I was wondering, they're doing some remodeling at the Medina Ranch, and they just can't seem to commit, or maybe we're just missing each other, but I was wondering, is it something you would still consider supporting if we combine it with a fundraiser for this building?
Fundraiser for which?
If we do the Firewise Annual Neighbor Fest meeting, which is a requirement for being a Firewise community, you have to have an annual event for the community to discuss fires and whatnot. And if we have it at this building, which is not big enough really, but we can work on it, or maybe some other location, but if we do this building, the Scotts Valley Women's Club had asked if it could be combined with a fundraiser for them. So I didn't have an answer, so I just thought, well, I'll just bring it up here. But if we can, sell, they were going to have a fundraiser called Wine and Weenies, right? And so it's like having hot dogs and, you know, desserts or sampling wines or whatever, and selling that as a fundraiser. But I don't know if that would be a conflict with our mission.
Off the top of my head, I don't think so, but we can talk about it. And
Okay.
so the meaning, well, let's just talk offline and you can, I don't think it would be a conflict, but
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Did they have a date? Did they set a date?
No, they didn't set a date. I was just at the discussing it because I was thinking of having this event before the big heat of the summer or after. And it's becoming, you know, close to June, and so I was just thinking of September would be better.
doing it here in September.
Yeah, you know, the third
Setting
week.
up out in the parking lot too, and
Yeah, or in
Yeah.
here and just expand and, you know, the details have to be ironed out, but I was just wanted to ask your opinion
yeah.
if we have it here. It's not as pretty, of course, as the Medina Ranch, but it would be, I mean, this is our community building, which we want to support, so maybe that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, do we have parking and all that?
Yeah, not good enough parking, but if we talk to the neighbors, then perhaps we can work that out.
Yeah.
Can we combine the two with the Scotts Valley Women's Club and our Firewise meeting at the Medinas? If I can get a date in September?
We can, but I haven't heard back from them. That's why I was thinking of having it here.
All right, well, let's talk some more about it and see what we
Okay.
can
Yeah.
figure out.
It
I'll
was,
ask Tracy.
it was just something that, you know, if we have it here, then the fundraiser for this building would become more obvious to the people attending. You know, it's like breaking open this side, having patio doors and a big porch, and, you know, all these things that they want to do, put in solar, making it more of a community building that's useful for the entire Scotts Valley community without, you know, the word community in our advisory council, but it's still the entire community. I think if it would draw more attention to the needs of it. So this building was donated, it's paid for, but they have property taxes to pay for, you know, the fuel,
Insurance.
electricity, and the water's taken care of, but things are getting outdated, things need to be repaired, and it would be just good to have that be part of the discussion.
Why don't I invite you to Rotary to see if they could provide some dollars and cents to the
Sounds
different
good.
Rotaries, and to see if they can support this idea. And maybe look at some T-shirt designs saying that people like, when they come and get a T-shirt, they're thrilled with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if combining our community outreach event with a fundraiser is something people are on board with.
Or would there be other standalone events we could creatively come up with for fundraisers?
What?
I wonder whether there'd be other creative events we could come up with for fundraisers that wouldn't be huge projects, that wouldn't
The other
necessarily have to
events,
compromise the.
you know, like the St. Patrick's dinner is their big
Yeah.
event, right? And
Yeah.
other than that, they haven't really had any. And in the past, they've had like garage
Wings and
sales.
yeah,
whatnot.
but-
Yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking of stepping it up a little bit and helping the building that we host our event at as well.
Okay, I
Sky
have,
has something.
oh, go ahead.
My observation is this is absolutely too small for that event. Would not even my wildest dreams could you make anything like that event before happen here.
Even if it's outside?
Well, how many people park there in the front parking? That occupies the entire parking lot and down the street.
Yeah,
And then,
I mean,
you know,
that
when
was
you
my
have the
thought.
line for the hot dog thing, it like fills up, I mean, it'll be nothing like those events at Medina Ranch.
That's true. I'm just at a loss because I don't really
Okay.
know if they would,
Can't you move it to town? Can you put it in Cobbeton Park, or, you know, I mean, I just somehow think outside the box. I mean, if Medina's can't handle it, I mean, they're your first choice. But man, I mean, this is, my initial, this is just a ridiculous thing. It's gonna be a Mickey Mouse little thing.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna go.
So where in town were you thinking?
Well, Cobbeton
Cobbeton.
Park, I don't, you know, I don't really know. I don't do venues or anything, but you know, the Cobbeton Park has got, I mean, they got the big gazebo thing, and they got, I don't know, I just,
You could,
We could?
yeah.
Okay.
It's, yeah, the Grange, was that what you were saying?
Yeah, there's a Grange in East that's just opened up.
Upper Lake. But we have a Grange in Big Valley too.
Right, they have a kitchen.
Well, we don't want to have it in Big Valley, it's Scotts Valley Firewise.
Um,
Yeah, in Lakeport, that would be fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't see why, I mean, it's not a meeting of the council, so
right.
you can do it, you don't have to be in the boundary
You're right, I didn't even think of that.
to do this event. You do it anywhere.
Okay. What about the Silviera Community Building?
Potentially, the only problem there is you'd have to make sure we had ADA bathrooms outside, which I think they do have one there now.
They
Because
don't?
they're very limited on what they're allowing to happen in there because the inside, the bathrooms are not ADA.
Oh,
We have the money to redo those, but it's going to be another year before
but
they're
maybe-
done. But as long as there's an ADA bathroom
Hmm.
outside would be okay.
We didn't have an ADA bathroom at that event.
Well, and I think technically, maybe that was okay there, but if you're going to use a facility like
Oh, if it's a public
Silvera, they're
facility.
going to put a restriction on
Right.
it.
Yeah, you're right.
And the only issue with the Grange is, from what I understand, like a barbecue would be fine, but my understanding of their kitchen permits is it's for events for their members only.
No.
They're not commercial kitchens to be able to open up for outside people that are not members right now. They want to be, but, and the one in Upper Lake.
So down the road, we should make this into a venue that we would want to be at.
Right.
Yeah. I really
Yeah.
value everybody's input because, you know, it broadens my horizons.
With regard to the ADA compliance, Action Sanitary does provide ADA compliant,
Yes, they do.
portable restrooms.
Oh, we can do that, yeah.
So you can call them and, and rent it for a week and, see what they can do for you.
Thank you.
That's what Eli Museum just did for the picnic.
But if
They
you
have
do
it.
Yeah.
Hobbiton Park, then you don't have to
You
have
don't
the
have to have
bathrooms
that.
that are
All
compliant.
right. We would,
Awesome,
would we
great
be able to
ideas.
bring barbecues into Capitan Park?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
or you get a permit to use the kitchen and potentially the barbecue we have down there.
Oh,
Are you willing to do your hot dogs
I
there?
said I would already, so
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Even at a different
Yeah.
location?
Right. Yeah.
Yay,
I'll do the hot dogs wherever you are.
okay,
I love it, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we need to form a committee called the Hot Dog Committee.
Hot dog, wine and weenies.
Wine and weenies.
Okay, so let's move on to the next item, future meetings. Items for the future meetings, I have, are you ready, Jarrett,
Yeah.
to list these down? I have, first of all, next month as a speaker, Megan Morgan, who is the staff service analyst for the Lake County Behavioral Health Services, and Brad mentioned that department today. And so we've got her somewhat lined up for the next meeting to come talk to us about the progress of these services that we're looking at. So we got, and I got our phone number, so we'll try to confirm that and get that going there. Other things I've heard mentioned is the 5-foot rule. Like I said, I've tried getting Cal Fire to come down here right now, but they've been busy training. And one thing that they happened to talk to about was our Neighbor Fest, and they said they would probably want to be there again, and with all this fire prevention material. So we'll look at that. The continuous flooding issue is another one for future meetings.
It'll be part of B, always.
Yeah, future meetings. I'm not sure how beneficial the sewage spill is. I read about it in the paper all the time. I don't know what we would do with it here, but if it's necessary to listen about it, I guess we could put the sewage spill in here. And of course, and we definitely want to follow up with the Water Resources Department to get a speaker for the future, as well as BLM, to address some of the things here. The other topic might be looking at a joint meeting with the Upper Lake Advisory Committee and our committee, looking at an overall plan.
A joint meeting?
A joint meeting to look at the flooding and how maybe an overview of the whole area might be able to combine for the benefit of everybody. And then once that, take it to the county to take a look at, but what interest that might do that. Are there any other, council member, any other topics that you want to look at for the agendas?
Jared, would Neil be someone who would be a potential speaker for looking at the BLM effects on Scotts Creek?
Yeah, I think it would be between he and, you know, one of his lead people that would be in charge in whatever areas we want spoken on. I mean, we've got flooding and sedimentation and fire,
Right.
and they're kind of handled by different people over there, so it could be kind of be Neil's call on
Okay.
who he would think would be best. It might be good timing for, to meet with him again and talk about that.
Would you talk to him about it, arranging a date?
Not recently, but I certainly
Could do it?
could do that, yeah.
Okay.
And I was also thinking about the sheriff or the Lake Fork Fire District. I'm talking about an evacuation plan or areas of things such as horses that would be brought into a certain area, other things that would be available. So those folks might be something that they consider for future meetings. Hopefully these might bring some points of interest, something might attract other citizens within the Scotts Valley. Is there anybody in the public that has any other subjects that they feel? Yes, Tom?
Tom Lacey. The conversation you had about the bylaws and the struggle to get people to join and things like that, maybe one of the things to consider for a future discussion, not necessarily for next month, but maybe not, is, and I think Chair Rasmussen brought a key point, there's only a few hundred people in this valley. There are a lot of other areas within District 4 that are not represented by an advisory council, like North Lakeport. District 3 is fully represented from top to bottom. Worth represents all the way from the Mendocino line and Potter Valley, Surth, Nice Lucerne, and Earth, goes all the way to the Calusa line. Middletown Area Town Hall has a lot of good representation, but it's not 100% complete. I don't think it represents Lower Lake. Cobb has got its area, and I'm not entirely sure where the boundaries are for Big Valley on the District 5 side, but maybe as a discussion for a future date to expand the representation within District 4 to
Tom,
North Lakeport.
Just curious, the Lakeport plan, I think Highland Springs may be within the 5th district or ours. I'm not sure where it ended up. But if we were to expand, if we were talking about Lakeport and North Lakeport type of area, and take away the name of Scotts Valley and gave it a different name, we'd have more population to draw from, but we have a long history here that we didn't want to preserve
Right.
the history and be considered. So I think that's a subject that we need to think that opportunities are out there and will benefit everybody
Sure.
together in this, and enlarging the thing. It's, another work of putting the map together and getting more people involved. And it's something for this council to consider, so
Yeah.
does anybody think that's worthwhile?
Well, I think that Brad has an opinion on that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that would go into it. I think, it's potential something, we've talked about that before. Do we want to expand these boundaries to take in the whole Scotts Creek watershed, which potentially is a lot bigger than what we have on this footprint? And then we've got considerations of North Lakeport is probably going to have different issues and concerns than what Scotts Valley had. So those are all the kinds of things we'd need to think through. I wouldn't want to give an answer tonight as to whether or not I'd want to combine, how I'd want to combine it, but I think that's something that we could discuss at a future meeting and just talk about what would make sense.
Oh, yeah. The main advantage would be that we could have our meetings somewhere else.
Right, but we want to make sure that we're going to be able to properly address the issues in, like if we combined with North Lakeport and brought that in,
Right.
is that a good idea? I don't know as of right
I
now.
don't know.
Would we lose the things of erosion and flooding and things that we're focused on because we've enlarged? Would that fog that up, or what we've been working on, into many other issues being brought in, and how do we prioritize those? So those are a lot of things to weigh.
So if I may just sort of continue the thought, for example, in the Eastern Region Town Hall, it includes High Valley, it includes Spring Valley. They actually have standing agenda items for things that are on the Spring Valley concerns. Usually it's about the water district there and about safety. If you take a look at Math, the Middletown Area Town Hall, they've got Hidden Valley. And so they actually have representation there for that particular valley, so that the interests are there. But those are the kind of things to think about. You're going to, make it a bigger tent so that more people are participating. That may or may not, water down what happens here. But that's why I think it needs to be discussed, and that's all I'm suggesting.
I think a meeting with the Upper Lake group, is that Worth? Yeah. Would be really beneficial because they've got Scotts Creek water that floods their area, and that would be a really good coalition to get to deal with the BLM land and controlling the flows out of the BLM land. It all goes downhill and it goes to them next. So I don't think they think of us, and I don't think we think of them as being allies. But I don't know about all these other issues, but this one issue about flooding and the flows out of the BLM, we need an ally to deal with that federal government.
I would say you already talked about it, putting it on, but I can get the chair connected with the chair of Worth, and they can chat about it for some plans for a joint meeting. I think that would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
When do they meet? Do you know, Brad?
I think it's the third Wednesday, or it's always on Wednesdays.
This Wednesday.
So it's on the same week as you guys meet.
Third Wednesday.
Yeah.
It would be a good idea to see what the other guys are doing.
So I see two things here. One is joint meeting and collaborating with another unit. And I see enlarging the boundaries and considering what benefits it can bring, overall more empowerment or more representation to unrepresented areas, but also keep up the same focus of what we've been working on.
Yeah.
This is a lot to discuss and think about, and I would think that we need to look at our future of our year, when we're gonna, which meetings we're gonna try to tackle things. We need to get, this Brown Act is a pain in the neck when you wanna share with the group how to meet together and do things together and focus on preparing for things like this. Because I can only talk to one person, and then I gotta go call the other person pretty soon. I'm playing phone tag back and forth, trying to get a hold of everybody, but I think that one thing I think I can do is send out just a blank letter saying, here's proposals, I'm asking for input back. What do you think we should go? I don't know how to beat it.
How about we invite them to one of our meetings once a year and get invited to their meetings once a year?
Well, we would need to set it up as kind of a joint meeting so you can, rather than just
Right,
an invite to sit here and watch yours. And
yeah, you're right.
I think it's worth, you got, like Greg said, there's two different issues. So collaborative meeting, and then that's another discussion if you want to talk about proposing an expansion of Scotts Valley.
And can I make a suggestion? They have a larger hall than you guys, so if you were to do that, I recommend you do it there.
Where's that at?
At the, out of the total,
Downtown Upper Lake, right in the middle of town.
Well, that big building there? where
Yeah,
they have
right-
that-
right next-
breakfasts and stuff?
Right near the Blue Wing.
Yeah,
Right downtown. Upper
yeah,
Lake.
that's a nice
The
facility.
that big hallway, hall there.
Okay, with that in mind, we got a lot to consider and good discussion. We're looking at a number of items for future meetings on the board. We took our notes. Thank you, everybody, for coming and your continuous interest and sharing with us.
And
Yes, sir.
feedback.
And I'm going to call this meeting to adjournment at what time? At meetings of, this meeting's adjourned at 7:27, okay. 7:30.
Did I hear you say,
Yeah.
did you count the